Well, you're absolutely right that the world has shifted in terms of our understanding of what gets called talent management. And actually, we like to use a phrase here at Primeys, talent liberation, because I was once talking with a client and we were talking about talent. And that client said, do you know what? Talent doesn't need to be managed. It needs to be liberated. It's something that is there. And it's our job to liberate that talent and put it to good work for ourselves, for the individuals concerned, for the organization, our customers and the world. And so that's the challenge. But if we go back into the last century, and it was the last century when McKinsey wrote The War for Talent, the perspective at that point, and I understand the reasons why, was that talent was seen as the high potential individuals in an organization. And they even used to get affectionately called HIPOs as an abbreviation for high potential individuals. And talent management in those days was very much about what are you doing to retain that 20% of people and to make the best use of it. Now, there was some logic to that, but it was something that really hit me here in my heart. And I thought, that's not what talent management ought to be about. It ought to be about managing the whole of the talent in your organization. And in fact, you get closer to it when you start talking about talents, and talents not as people, but as things people have. You know, everybody in our organization walks through the factory gate as a metaphor with a set of talents. And the question is, do we know it? Do we appreciate it? And are we playing to that in the work that we do? So I did a piece of work that took 10 years working with HR directors, mainly in the United Kingdom, but also from around the world with the Chartered Institute of Personal Development, looking at how HR directors actually put in place strategies that will take care of everybody having talent. And we developed an 8-step process, which was about, first of all, referencing back to the direction of the organization, the purpose of the vision, and then saying, so what do we believe about talent? Do we believe it's these high potential individuals and we can forget about the rest? Or do we believe it's all the talents that everybody brings to work with them? And if it is, what do we believe about our duty to invest in that? And I was encouraging these leaders to invest in proportion to the potential. So that's not to say that we should invest the same amount of, for example, learning and development for our next CEO as we do for somebody that's working on the factory floor. We should be investing in both, but the CEO might get sent to Harvard on some mega powerful program that really makes most of that person's talent, whereas the person on the factory floor will get invested in according to their talents and their career aspirations. So talent management has moved on massively. And these days, it's about helping organizations manage talent for the future. And of course, they don't know what the talent needs for the future because of the world of uncertainty. You're asking about how leaders prepare for the talent needs of the future, given all the uncertainty of that. And first of all, acknowledging that uncertainty and acknowledging the fact that it's in a state of flux and at a rate of change faster than ever before is key to this. But there are some skills and talents that we know will always be in the mix. I mean, for example, if you look at leadership skills, and we do a lot of work these days with the instrument, the Leadership Circle, which measures the creative competencies of a leader versus their reactive tendencies. And that is the best measure I've seen ever in my career of what it is that a leader needs to develop over the course of their whole career, because it's a career-long journey, and helping them to understand that. Now, that's something that is applicable to everybody that is a leader. And I personally believe we're all leaders one way, shape or another. So understanding that there's a set of skills, and Primeys, we have this curriculum, if you like, that we call Future Skills, which is that complete set of skills which we can then engage with a client. And just as we can measure the values and the culture that an organization needs, so we can engage, I'm using my language deliberately, with people in that organization as to the talents that they need. So given what's going on, given your purpose, given your vision, given the external context, which of these skills are most needed right now? Because there's probably 30 or so skills in that curriculum that I talked about, which we define as future skills. But most organizations won't want to bite all of them up every year. They'll probably want to prioritize. And it's the same as well when it comes to technical skills. A lot will depend on what's going on right now. And it's helping organizations work with people in the knowledge that careers will shift massively over time. In the past, going back to when I was growing up in the electricity industry, it was assumed that the organization would guide you in your development path. And very rarely were you asked or were you engaged in any understanding of what skills and strengths you bring to the organization. Whereas these days, we did a piece of work just last year for a global organization where one of the key outcomes that they wanted was for every organization, every individual, something like 24,000 individuals, to be in no doubt that they were in the driving seat of their own career, that they were the ones funding their own development plan. And a starting place for that is, have you even taken stock of the strengths you bring to work? Because a lot of people have never been engaged in that conversation. In fact, I've had people where we have engaged in that conversation, they say, I haven't got any strengths. And everybody does. Everybody has got talents and strengths. It's about how we put them to work in support of something that we believe in.